so today we're talking about something I really enjoyed today, which is color in my hair. But it's also something that I was really scared of for many years and was a daunting thing for me. And I kind of stayed away from it, as you know, with my longer hair. I never colored it. I never really experimented when I was younger. And now I really love it so much. And each time I kind of do my color, I post about it, I get a zillion questions from people on, is it damaging? Is it this? Is it that? So this is what I've learned over the last 5 or 6 years of coloring my hair regularly. And I'm no expert. I'm not like a colorist or a hairstylist, but this is what my experience has been and what I've learned. Number one, hair color can damage your hair. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to damage your hair. Obviously, it's not like it will, but it can. So, what I mean by that is pick your stylist wisely. Work with someone that you can trust, someone that knows, your hair, coloring, different types of hair, the processes, how much time it takes, etc. Because this is obviously, a chemical thing that you're working with. And just like any other procedure that you would go in for, whether it involves like, your skin or whatever, you would go to a qualified dermatologist, right? You just wouldn't go to anybody. So if your hair is not colored the right way, if it's not bleached the right way, if it's bleached excessively, all of these things can kind of damage your hair, yes. And it also kind of depends on your original hair texture and the state of your hair when you go to color it. So it can be very damaging, but it doesn't have to be. So if you pick your stylist wisely, you go to someone that knows your hair, that knows how to work with color, all of that, you'll be fine. Now this one is really important. Evaluate your maintenance before you actually go through with it. Okay, so when you take your appointment is when you kind of want to sit down with the stylist and ask them how this color is going to fade, how often you're going to need to color, what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take. There's also different kinds of, techniques of coloring and what works best. Like it's also great, I would say it's great to do like an ombre if you're starting out with darker roots. So if you see right now, my roots are darker and then the rest is pink, which we'll get to in the next point. But, evaluate the whole process, not just for that one time of color right now. Over the next 4 or 5 months, what are you going to have to put in time-wise, financially, hair care-wise, all of those things before you actually get down to coloring your hair. Reds and pinks are the hardest to maintain, okay? I'm saying this with like pink hair that's purple right now. I've colored my hair red. You guys know when I had short, like my pixie hair went red as well, because it was always my dream to do like a red, hair color at some point. And I was like, okay, I'm doing it now. And I started getting into it and stuff. But reds, pinks, they bleed. Nobody tells you that. If your stylist tells you that, that's great. A lot of the times people don't know that. And then after they color, they're like, oh my God, it's all coming out. Well, it bleeds for like a week, sometimes a couple of weeks as well. You've got to be prepared for that. So like when I was doing this color, the stylist, she told me 20 times, it's going to bleed, it's going to fade into a purple. All of those things, like you need to kind of prep for that or be prepped for that. Also, red and pink is high maintenance. So this has been a few weeks now. And as you can see, the pink has faded into a purple, which I knew it would, but now I can go in and tone it again or let it fade further, or that's why I've done the roots darker, because I also have grays to kind of maintain with the pink. So pinks and reds are tough, and unless you're committed, don't get into them. Ask for pricing before your appointment. Okay, now this is really important because I feel like a lot of people get pressured and embarrassed into like just doing stuff they don't want, and it costs a lot of money. Hair color is expensive if you go to the right person. It depends on a lot of factors: the length of your hair, the amount of color they're going to use, the kind of color, what technique is it, the stylist you go to, what their charges are, the kind of salon it is, what their charges are, all of those things. When you're taking your appointment, call in ahead, give them a vague indicator of, oh, I've got shoulder length hair. This is what I kind of want to do. How much would it be? So you're not shocked while you're sitting in the chair and that person's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do and this is what it's going to cost you. And then you're like, okay, now how do I get out of this? And you just say, yeah. And it's unaffordable to kind of maintain for you. So always ask beforehand. Also, I think have a plan in place for maintenance, because every time you go in to touch up your roots, or whether it's for toning or whatever, they are going to charge you something. So kind of know that this is the cost your hair is going to, have for like a few months. Make sure you're aware of all that before you actually color it. Do your own research, bring pictures. Okay, this is really important. I know a lot of people see, like just have an idea in their mind, be like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And if you're really experimental, that's great. Like, I mean, for someone like me, I didn't go with the intention to get pink hair. Someone who worked at the salon had this color, and not this, but like the actual pink when I got it. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. It looks nice. And that kind of got me to do it. But if I hadn't done that, I would have had to see many pictures and figure out if, this is for me, if it works for me. So definitely do your own research, figure out what you want to get done and take lots of pictures. Have 2-3 options, because sometimes what you've taken a picture of, like someone else's hair, might not work for you and your hair, okay? Like, you got to keep in mind your natural color, your skin tone. Certain colors look nicer on certain skin tones. Certain colors catch better on certain like hair colors. So like, for example, if I'm looking at someone who's had like natural color is blonde and then they've gone pink, obviously their pink is going to be way more robust than someone like me doing it, unless I completely bleach my hair. And also, what degree do you want to bleach your hair to? Like, how much do you want to bleach your hair? Because bleach can be damaging to the hair. So all of these things are factors that you've got to kind of consider even when you do your research and get your images for your stylist. But always have like that image of your expectation. I feel like it helps with getting the right color, and also for both people to understand each other best if you're not someone that colors your hair regularly. Do an allergy test, okay? Do not skip this step. Now, this is before you actually put the color in your hair. If you are coloring your hair for the first time, make sure the salon does an allergy test. So first you come in, they do an allergy test, like a small little patch test. And after 24 hours, they will actually go ahead with the color. Many people are allergic to hair dye, they're allergic to ammonia. So then, all of these things we don't even know. And I didn't know this the first time I actually was going to color my hair, and my regular stylist was like, "Are we have to do a patch test and then you have to come back." And I was like, "Can't you just do it now and finish it in there?" And he was like, "No, do you not know how terrible like color allergies can be and whatever," and showed me some horrific pictures, which I was like, wow, this is really, really scary. So at no cost will I say skip that. Make sure you do the allergy test the first time for sure. Also, if you're trying some new kind of color, like if you've only used ammonia-free color and you're using color with ammonia, all of those, you have to do the allergy test. Aftercare is really important after coloring your hair, okay? So when you're bleaching your hair, if you're bleaching it, you're obviously stripping your nutrients of your hair, all of that. And if you want your color to last longer, use Color Protect shampoos, conditioners, masks, all of that. Also in salon treatments, you can use Olaplex, you can like go for a hair spa, whatever your stylist recommends, trust them if you're looking for a longer lasting vibrant color. So for example, now like my hair's faded into a purple, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go back in and we're going to tone it, which will give it that vibrancy to pink again. My roots are a little darker than the pink, as you can see. So if I want to touch up my grays, I have that option as well. So yeah, the post care is important. As you can see, this is pretty much my normal texture. It's not drier than usual after coloring, because I am using a Color Protect shampoo and conditioner and all of those things. So I think post color care is a whole different ball game, and you've got to be prepared for that if you're coloring your hair. Like, you can't be lazy with hair care after you color it. Educate yourself on coloring techniques before you go into a salon, okay? So whether it's balayage, money piece, global, highlights, there are ombre, there are zillion different like styles and techniques of coloring your hair. And honestly, like, if you're someone that's open to anything and you trust your stylist blindly, sure, then it's cool. But otherwise, you should know what they're telling you. Like, I remember when I did this whole money piece thing, I didn't even know what that was. And when my stylist was like, I want to do a money piece. I was like, what is that? I have no clue. This is called the money shot. Apparently, this is what Rohit told me. When there's light highlights framing the face, it's called money shot, and then the rest is all balayage. So it took very, very long. Like we took over 4 hours to get this.
And so I'm going to do a combination of this, this and this.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one family, but you're going to have a shadow division of mix of darker, lighter versus the light.
Like when I first went in this time, I colored my hair global because I didn't have a lot of time, and it was like a darker, more purpley color. But I expected something else in my head, okay? And then we like undid it and redid it, which I will come to soon. But in a sense, like I didn't really think through what I wanted clearly, and whether we were doing highlights, whether we were doing global, whether we were doing like an ombre, where, as I said, it goes dark to light, light to dark, whatever. Balayage, you got to kind of know what your hair is going to look like. So as I said, if you've got images, you know what you want, that will help. Or Google, while you're at the salon, Google is your best friend, and understand what your stylist is saying, and kind of, be like, okay, yeah, this is the kind of technique I want. Because hair color is just so vast, guys. It's not about grays anymore. It's not about just like covering your grays or doing a global color. It's actually about experimenting, expressing yourself through your color, having fun with your color, and it's a whole new world. Hair coloring takes time, okay? This can take hours, it can even take days. So it is 2 o'clock, lots of people have come and gone. I am almost done, last leg of the color. So if you go to an actual like colorist that wants to specifically do something, it could take them 2 to 3 days sometimes, or sittings, to get to that point where you've got to be prepared for that, where if you're bleaching your hair, maybe give it a gap. So sometimes if you do a full bleach, they'll bleach your hair and then give it a few days, and then you come in and do the next color. Or sometimes they need to strip off all your existing color if you want to do like something different, and then go into a new color. So it could take multiple sittings, it could take many hours, again bleaching, and all of these processes take time. So don't rush your stylist. Like, don't be like, I want to finish it in one sitting because it'll be cheaper or whatever in your head, because that can really damage your hair, can mess up the color. And you've got to be prepared when you go to a stylist for hair color. Ask how long is it going to take, how many hours, how many sittings, all of that, to get to that color that you want to, because it takes time. And last but definitely not the least, any hair color can be fixed, okay? So if you're not happy with results, remember, you can always go back into the same salon, change things. You can always go to another salon if someone completely like has messed up your hair. It is just hair at the end of the day. It is just experimenting with your hair. Nothing is permanent. Like, your color will fade. It will, like eventually like turn into something else, or you can dye it back to whatever color your original color was if you don't like it at all. It's all fixable. Like, so like, as I said, with this hair, I went in, I really liked that burgundy-ish, purplish shade that I had, but I just felt like it lacked the vibrancy and the excitement I was looking for, which is like more like this, where you see the color. And obviously she told me that you will have to bleach your hair for that. And I was like, let's do like just the highlights. I don't mind bleaching for highlights and doing it. And I don't mind toning it after every 4 or 5 weeks. That's cool. So yeah, I mean, it's totally okay to go back to the stylist and say, this is kind of what I want, or didn't like, or like, and they will change it, tweak it, or go to another stylist and say, this is what I have wanted, but I didn't get. And you don't have to live with hair color that you don't like, is basically what I'm trying to say. Everything is fixable. So guys, that has kind of been my experience with hair color. I was someone that was scared to color my hair like for I don't know how long. Like, I think with my long hair, I pretty much colored my hair once or twice, and that too was for modeling jobs. I never really colored it. I only started coloring it after I went short, and I really enjoyed it. Like, suddenly I was like, oh my god, this is a whole new way, like how you wear makeup, right? To kind of express yourself and be like, oh, I like these vibrant things. And I was like, I like to play with my hair, whether it's, coloring it a bright shade, a vibrant shade, or going, like I've done everything from like the blondie highlights to like you know, a darker brown, more caramelly vibe red, now pink going into purple. So yeah, I feel like it's important to do what you like with your hair and don't be afraid. It's just color, guys. So guys, this has been my honest experience with coloring my hair over the last few years. If you have any more questions about my hair color or about coloring in general, leave them in the comments and I will try and answer everything that I can. See you guys. Bye.